let me just start with Snoop Dogg's question about magic spells, and he's basically asking about the difficulty level. Are there differences, and if so, what causes that? And so, Snoop, I would just say that it just depends on the type of smell, this type of spell, but also the talents and the abilities of the wizard who is casting them. You guys have been asking a lot about magic systems. And so I've written a lot on this, and I'm going to put this in the Wikipedia. Matto has been helping me with the Wikipedia lately, so I'm going to get this in there ASAP. But basically, what you'll learn is that there's actually a bunch of different systems at play. As I've said before, magic is really first and foremost an art form. So there's no really system that defines all art. There's different movements, of course, um, but there's not really a system. Okay, so in the Runiverse, the sort of different magical influences are, of course, color magic, rune magic, and then magic based on specialties, specialities like druidry or necromancy or chronomancy or shamanism or sorcery. Um, and each wizard kind of mixes together all these different influences together to form their own unique magical art form. So that's really just kind of a loose description of a so-called magic system. Is that there's just several different influences. If you saw my Twitter post this morning, I posted a diagram that I found in the Blue Bastion, and it seems to show the singularity event that is birthing magic into the world. And if you look closely, there's a white light that is being refracted through a chroma crystal to make the 6 colors of magic. And this is the event that is forming the new world. So, okay, we've got a new world now to address Meeple and Tad and Feckless's questions. As we've talked about before, the Runiverse is the future history of our Earth. It's literally our world in the future. Um, but first, let's look at the past of our world. In the past, we had wizards, and we know them by Merlin or Moses or Hermes Trismegistus. There's tons of wizards in our past, but many of the details of their history were forgotten. And only tales and legends of their existence remain as stories of pure fiction and fantasy. Um, and as our world progressed, as science and technology advanced, magic slowly disappeared from the world, and with that, the wizards. Um, so then, if we fast forward on our world to the birth of the Runiverse, the future history of our Earth, ironically, the very thing that erased the wizards was also the very thing that brought them back: technology, or the technological singularity event. Um, as we've talked before, there will be an event in our future that it'll possibly even be in our lifetimes, where in an instant, humanity will have basically done some profound thing. I'm guessing it's probably going to be something along the line of giving birth to actual life through a machine. Um, Obviously, AI will probably play a big role in this event. People are calling it AGI. There's other names for it, but this is all related to the technological singularity event. And in this very instant, a godlike consciousness will bend reality in the very fabric of space time. The planet's tectonics will groan, and the memory of humankind will be wiped from reality. But life will persist, and this godlike superconsciousness will be gone. It will pass over, and this new world will be left in its wake. And this new world will have magic in it. And this magic will be wielded by wizards. And the wizards will have returned to our world. This is the future that we all have to look forward to. So, to be more specific about your questions, Meeple, I don't think there's definitely a perfect one-to-one translation of our geography to the runic supercontinent. Not even for features like the Giza pyramids or the Sphinx or the Great Wall of China. I do think that they definitely remain in the Runiverse. But yeah, as you said, maybe some of them are under the ocean. Some of them just got mixed around magically. Some of them may have stayed in place. I don't know. I think the team at Bisonic, who's making the Runiverse game, I think they're having fun with putting hints of these landmarks into the game. But yeah, it's definitely not like a perfect one-to-one translation. Um, and then Feckless, this question you ask is actually super cool. To, to say the question again, he's asking. Are Mu and Atlantis and all of these other lost continents and lost world, do they exist in the universe? Um, so, okay, this is Feckless. This is actually a really fun mystery that I've actually written into the show, but I'll go ahead and spoil it here because there's a ton of other stuff in the show that won't be spoiled. But to answer your question, we right now, we are Atlantis. We are Mu. We are El Dorado. We are all of these lost worlds. What I am very interested in is not these lost worlds specifically, but the archetype that they represent. Atlantis, Mu, El Dorado, etc. Shangri-La. World history is full of these lost worlds, and it almost makes me wonder if all of the ancients are sort of referring to the same place. Um, so if you fast forward to our future history in the Runiverse, what will be the predominant lost world? What will be under the sands of time that the peoples of the Runiverse are digging up and wondering about? It will be us. Um, and so this is sort of the biggest reason I wanted to put all these places in the collection, which is to say that our world, right now, we are Atlantis. We are all these lost places. Um, if there are wizards in the collection who have those places in their names, perhaps they have indeed seen or traveled to a version of these worlds in their own mindscapes. Um, Maybe if they find one of these lost worlds, I'm imagining its identity will reflect their own cultural biases, which is why we get different versions of these lost worlds. But I think it's basically all the same thing. um, but yeah, it's us. We are the lost world, and we are the avatars of these ancient beings or these future beings. um, so yeah, I hope that made sense. And that's actually, I think, all the questions I see in the Secret Tower. Rant over. What do you got, guys?